Welcome to Nonprofit Profiles. I'm Genevieve Riatort. Step Up on Second is a wonderful community resource for individuals and families that are coping with mental illness. And I am so proud and honored to be here today with Jacob Ramsey, who is a client, resident, and a former board member at Step Up on Second, and Shelley Hoffman, who is a parent and family advocate at the Step Up on Second program, Daniel's Place. Welcome to you both.
Thank you very much for having us.
So Jacob, tell me about your experience. You've sort of been all the way around at Step Up.
Yes, I basically have been a part of Step Up since 1997, which seems like an awful long time. Step Up is a place in Santa Monica where if you don't have a community and you're dealing with a mental health issue, you can go there and become a part of that community. And then what Step Up does, they allow you to reintegrate into the greater community or go back out into Santa Monica and be part of that lifestyle again. Step Up is one of the largest and most famous mental health agencies in the United States. Bill Clinton and the Clinton Initiative, they're part of that, and Step Up provides housing, hope, and a home for people who are dealing with mental health issues.
Well, Bill Clinton, that's a pretty exciting company you're keeping.
Well, Step Up is a pretty exciting place. Step Up is a member-driven organization, which means that members, people like myself, run the organization at a certain level. Of course, they have professional staff like my dear friend Shelley here and a lot of other people that the people will be meeting today. And then they have people like myself. I facilitate 6 groups a week at Step Up on Second. I do a group called Understanding Your Thoughts. I do a group called How to Tell Your Story, which I did today on Thursday. On Friday, I do Positive Thinking and karaoke. Sunday, I do a group called Words of Encouragement. I found out that the members, or the people that live at Step Up on Second, I have an apartment at Step Up on Second, didn't have anything to do on Wednesdays. So I started a group called Chicken Soup for the Soul. And what we do is we read from the Chicken Soup from the Soul book, and then we eat chicken soup or some type of soup or something every Wednesday. So Step Up is a place where someone like myself who's dealing with a permanent chemical imbalance can go in and reintegrate back into the community. We learn how to manage whatever issues we have with the help of medication, with the help and support of the staff, and then whatever we were doing before we had, I call it a meltdown, we can do again. So once I sort of got my feet under myself, for the last 12 years, I've been facilitating groups and helping other members who come to Step Up. And we have Step Up Santa Monica, Step Up in Hollywood, and we have a place called Danielsville. And Shelley, you want to tell a little bit about it?
Well, I'll tell about Daniel's Place. But let me back up a little bit because I am a family member of my oldest son has schizoaffective disorder. And when he first became ill, he was 19, he was National Merit Scholar at a top university, but he came home on a Thanksgiving break and he was in a psychotic state. So it was very scary, and I didn't know what was going on, and I had other family members at home,
And he was already an adult, technically.
He was technically an adult. So I got him to the hospital, and he was admitted, and that began my journey, and that was 13, 14 years ago.
And how's your son doing now?
Well, roughly 25% of people affected don't really get better. Many people do have great recovery. He's stable, but he's unfortunately
He still
been one of
suffers.
he still is pretty ill. Yeah. But I have been able to use my experience to help other families. I'll talk about that a little bit later, but
Okay.
What I learned was that when mental illness strikes in a a member of the family, the whole family's affected,
Right.
and needs support and information.
And so you
And
found
what
that
I-
support at Step Up.
Well, initially I found it at NAMI, National Alliance on Mental Illness, and they directed me to Daniel's Place because it's a mental health agency. Parent organization is Step Up, but for young adults. And so there's a parent support group there, and I started coming as a parent and encouraged my son to attend the groups. And he did, and it was helpful. And then that was many years ago, and then as I became more knowledgeable about the needs of families and how to be supportive to my son, and I began my journey into working at
Well, and
Daniel's
it sounds
Place.
like that really is the model at Step Up, that members go through the program, and once they learn about this kind of services that are available, they're able to step forward, as you both have, to help other people, families who are in the same situation.
Right.
Well, thank you both so much for being with us. I'm really excited to hear more about the programs at Step Up on Second and Daniel's Place, and I just really appreciate you coming on the show.
Thank you
And
very
thank
much.
you for the opportunity.
And please stay with us. We are going to learn more about how the programs work at Step Up on Second and how these wonderful volunteers and staff provide services. Stay with us. Hey, slow down!
Right next to the library on 7th Street is the Santa Monica History Museum, where history comes to life for the entire family. Enjoy the exhibits, main gallery, the photo archive, research gallery, and much more. Come visit the Santa Monica History Museum, keeping history alive.
Welcome back. I'm here with Shelley Hoffman again, and now Barbara Bloom, COO at Step Up on Second. Welcome.
Thank you.
How did you become connected with Step Up on Second?
Do you know, it was a really magical experience for me. I still remember it to this day. I answered a job ad, walked into the agency, and I looked around and I said, this is the social worker's dream. This was an agency that started from nothing to something. And it's really a very special place, and most people that walk in feel the same way. Something special's happening there. I've been with Step Up for 12 years now, so I look at that as a real commitment to a really exemplary organization. Todd Lipkin and I, the CEO, started at the same time, so we saw an opportunity to enhance something and make it more. We've spent the last 12 years developing our staff, focusing on our mission, and really embracing the principles of help, hope, and a home. The things that we've done particularly are looking at how can we continue to keep the core values and expand and develop as staff grow and leave and turnover. How do we keep that going? And that's my challenge as the Chief Operations Officer, is how do I keep people inspired every single day? And it's usually the members that do that for me.
Yeah.
I've thought about leaving, believe it or not, but it's usually a member that will say to me, hey Barbara, how are you today? Or you look so nice today, or we missed you, you've been on vacation. And I think, where else will I get that kind of admiration?
Sure.
Except from people that I work with.
And so you work directly with your members?
I do to some degree, but my job is really more operational and to keep the staff focused on what we're supposed to be doing and to make sure that they really are following the best clinical practices and developing themselves as well and staying connected.
And it sounds like you've really developed an amazing model at Step Up on Second. What are the components of your model?
We work with a psychosocial rehab model, which is really taking an individual's goals and desires and developing them until they achieve them. So while there's no cure for mental illness, we look at developing a relationship with our staff, because sometimes our staff will work with someone for years and years and years. There's no cure. So we just help someone get better and better and better. Jacob's a great example of that. I can't believe he's there 12 years as well. And then we look at the next steps of how do we take new ideas and new protocols and bring them into play. So one of the things that I've actually said most of the time is that Step Up can't help this person who can. And so we start with that. We're the place where people come. Even if they're not ready to accept treatment, they know it's a safe place, and they see how other people are recovering.
They can get a meal.
They can get a meal, they can get a shower, they can participate in groups. And we have also now, the next steps for me as a Chief Operations Officer is to replicate what we're doing in Santa Monica and that we've done so well for the last 25 years, is to take it on the road. And so we've got a new service center in Hollywood, and we've got street outreach teams.
That's wonderful. And I know with Daniel's Place, which Shelley's really involved with, you're working with a younger clientele.
Yeah, we work the spectrum, 18 to 60 or older.
And how do you get someone like Shelley who begins coming to you for help? Shelley, maybe you can speak to
yeah, I'll
this,
speak to
and
that.
then turning it around
Sure.
and becoming a helper yourself.
Yes. Well, I found Daniel's Place because my son was ill, okay? And I was looking for a place for him to have some peer interaction, a place where he would feel safe and be accepted for where he was.
Right.
And this was 13 years ago. So
how did you make that transition?
well, in the early years of his illness, I wanted to do whatever I could to educate myself about mental illness, to see how I could help him, and look into resources for him.
Oh, just say
So-
it, Shelley. We hired her because she was so committed.
I'm going
She
to
was
say
so
it. I'm going to say it because I was looking at all these things, and I got educated through NAMI, National Alliance on Mental Illness, and I became an advocate. And I became a family-to-family teacher and a provider course for education teacher. And through doing these things, when the parent family advocate position came open at Step Up, I had another career, but it was where my heart was, because I'd been through so much with my son. I learned so much, and I felt like I could help other families who were just getting into this. And it's so devastating for families. I felt, let me use my experience to help other people and to help their family members. And so I lead parent family support groups. I do some groups with the young members, 18 to 28-year-olds at Daniel's Place, to go walking and talking with them, to get them out in the community. And they share things with me that they wouldn't say in a closed environment, just walking in the neighborhood and talking about things. And families often connect with Daniel's Place even before they're young adult, will take that step. And so I educate families about where they can go to learn about what's going on
How
with
they can
their
be
illness,
supportive
how
of
they can
their-
be supportive, how they can interact, how they can encourage treatment, developing a trusting relationship with their relative, so that they will feel safe enough to share with them what's going on, and they can, ultimately come in for help. And I know that's what I needed when I was in the early stages of my son's illness, and I want to provide that for other people.
Well, it must be really rewarding.
It is rewarding, yeah. And
So,
I'm grateful
Barbara-
to have the place to do it.
How do you develop more Shelleys?
Well, it's really through volunteers. We have a very broad internship program. So we have relationships with schools. NAMI is a big partner as well. And so we always have people coming through the agency, doing an internship, doing a training, learning. And so we're always about developing people.
And it sounds like you're really developing just a wonderful community where people can be
truly is.
on the receiving end and on the giving end, and that it really balances and turns out to be a rewarding experience for all.
Right.
Well, I want to thank you both so
thank you.
much for being with us. It's really great to hear about the work that you're doing, and I just wish you continued success with your family and with your organization. I think it's wonderful, and hopefully there will be lots more organizations like yours popping up around the country to help people.
That would be great.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, please stay with us. We're going to hear more about Step Up on Second services.
Even if a signal indicates it's safe to walk, it's never safe unless drivers see you. Last year, 113 pedestrians were injured in Santa Monica. You don't have to go to extremes to get a driver's attention. It just takes a little eye contact. Take the right steps to be safe. Watch the road.
Welcome back to Nonprofit Profiles. I'm here with Carolyn Baker, a staff member at Step Up on Second, and India Rodford, did I get that right? Who is a poet. So I would like to hear about how being a poet translates into services at Step Up on Second.
I volunteer for a project called the Creative Minds Art Therapy Project, which is through UCLA and in partnership with Step Up. And I do a workshop with the members at Step Up and Daniel's Place where we basically, it's like a creative writing workshop except we focus on the feelings instead of the artistic product of the piece of writing itself.
So I would imagine that people are able to express through the artistic process things that they might not be able to express otherwise.
Yes, they amaze me. And I live in Santa Monica, and this is my first year really knowing about Step Up. But my favorite two places to be right now are the art room at Step Up, which is called Julie's Room, and the green room in Daniel's Place, where we do our workshop. I love being in there with the members. And Julie's Room is a very creative place, one of the most creative places I've been in. We sit around tables that are pushed together with brown paper and like splattered paint on top, chairs where we all sit around and we talk.
Sounds like
And
fun.
it's great.
And I understand you have a sample of some work by one of your members?
Yes, and this is a member who, he has a habit, he lives there and he has a habit of coming in and out of my class. It's an hour and a half long. And so he'll come in and out, and sometimes he'll finish his piece by 3 different entrances and exits. So it just started this way. But I think it's a good summary of, building of building, paragraph at a time, letter at a time, word, sentence, community.
Wow, that's powerful.
It's powerful, and I couldn't have said it better. I can't do what these people do.
So Carolyn, it must be really wonderful for you to be able to work with community partners and programs like the arts project that India described.
Yes, it's really so much about community, as everyone has said here this afternoon, and our volunteers are really at the heart of what we do. And the community collaboration with UCLA, the very talented art therapists that are involved, it really enriches our services so tremendously. And I think that is the role of a community, to heal and sustain all of its members, and that includes us, the staff, that includes the families, that includes the members themselves. We all are healed and sustained by being part of this community. It's really a blessing.
And I understand you have a personal connection that draws you towards Step Up on Second.
Yes, I also am a mom of a loved one that is affected by schizophrenia. And when he first became ill, he was 19. And as Shelley mentioned, it was really a very confusing and frightening time. And I didn't connect with Step Up on Second until about 5 years ago. And the journey was a difficult one, and my career has been in nonprofits for about 25 years, but only 5 years have I been with Step Up on Second. And I am there as part of the development team, and what we develop is not only the internal community, but also the community of our neighborhoods. And I have found that it's really helped me to develop too, to see how the clinical staff, the professional staff, the members, the volunteers, everybody, they are my teachers. And I've learned so much about how to do a good and effective job as a parent. And I've learned to listen, and also to realize that the answers, we're still finding the answers, but I really know today that there's lots of reasons for hope.
Yeah, and Jacob mentioned in the first segment, I'm really curious to hear more about the Clinton Global Initiative, and can you tell us what that is?
Yes, it's so exciting, Genevieve. It's an amazing opportunity. Step Up on Second was presented as an initiative, and Clinton staff looked at it, reviewed it, and said, I think we ought to go with it. And in 2010, we became a commitment maker within the Clinton Global Initiative, and our commitment is to develop 200 units of permanent supportive housing in Hollywood.
Wow.
And not only are we bringing 200 units online, but they're LEED certified using multiple green technologies. And it's an area in Hollywood where there are very little housing inventory there. So every year I go back to New York with our leadership, and we talk about our progress. And as Barbara mentioned, you know, we've got a lot of units now that we can offer people to live in, whether if they're at Step Up on 2nd or Step Up on Vine or Michael's Village or the Step Up on 5th or the Tamarind, where you can really see that there's a lot of progress in very effective permanent supportive housing. And the facility that Step Up on 2nd is the original one, but we're really moving out and expanding. As Barbara said, we're replicating what we do in other communities. And I think that the neighborhood is really starting to think differently about how we approach chronic homelessness and mental illness. We see it as these are our neighbors. These are citizens. These are residents of the community. And as we develop the permanent supportive housing, they just do better and better through the supportive services.
Sure. And so just a little bit of nuts and bolts. How many clients are you serving? What are the services that they receive?
We have here in Santa Monica 90 units in permanent supportive housing. And in the Hollywood area, we have 78. So gives you an idea of the volume. But that's just the beginning of the story. Once a person is housed, then we begin to surround them. Actually, the street outreach team have made friendships initially, and then anyone who is receiving services at Step Up on 2nd can have supported vocational training. They can have management of their money to help them learn about how to better manage their finances. There's meals, there's showers, there's groups, there's the tremendous volunteer opportunities that our partners are bringing. And we also have the opportunities to be working out in the community. You know, it's really a reintegration into the larger community, as Jacob said.
Sounds like there's a lot happening. So India, can you just say one or two ideas that maybe might inspire someone else to be a volunteer like you are?
Sure. You'll learn a lot. As Carolyn said, I learn all the time from the members, and you'll make friends. And I consider them my fellow poets at this point.
Oh, absolutely.
And
The evidence is clear.
yeah.
And Carolyn, if someone wants to get in touch with Step Up on 2nd, either to become a volunteer or to take advantages of services, how can they do that?
It's very simple. Our website is our name, www.stepuponsecond.org, all spelled out.
And do you have a phone number that people can call?
I think the website's the best way to reach us.
Okay, wonderful.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for being on the show.
And I'd like to leave you with a present.
Oh.
This is a book that we've produced. It's called The Heart Speaks, and it has creative writing of our members as well as their artwork.
Oh, wonderful.
And one of the quotes that I think sums up all that we've been saying today, which is, family is where you find it. We all need to be part of a group in which we feel loved and accepted. If we open up and allow ourselves to find a second family, we may recover much of what we felt we had lost. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Well, that is really wonderful, and you're clearly doing great work. So keep up the great work, and thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you.
And thank you for being with us. I hope that you will get involved with Step Up on 2nd. StepUpOn2nd.org is their website, and thanks again for being with us on Nonprofit Profiles.